Have you ever stopped to think about your blood type, beyond just what's on a medical chart? Well, what if I told you it's not just a detail, it's a story? It's an evolutionary blueprint of your ancestry, and it reveals way more about you than you could possibly imagine.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Your blood is a biological time machine. It's not just carrying oxygen around. Nope, it's carrying the entire history of our species, the story of how we fought, how we survived, how we adapted. And today, we're going to pop the hood and decode it. So let's start at the very beginning, with type O. You can think of this as the ancestral anchor, the original human blueprint. This is the blood that pumped through the veins of our earliest hunter-gatherer ancestors. It's a metabolic signature that was perfectly designed for a life of constant movement, endurance, and sheer survival. And just how foundational is it? Well, take a look at these numbers. You add them up, and you're talking about almost half of the entire human population. It really is our genetic default setting, the original model that all the other blood types eventually spun off from. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Every single blood type has a trade-off. For type O, the superpower is what we can call the Teflon shield. Basically, its red blood cells are super slick. They don't have the sticky antigens that other types do. But the kryptonite, an internal system that runs incredibly hot, like an incinerator. Let's break that down a bit. That slick, non-sticky blood, it means a much lower risk of heart attacks and those really dangerous blood clots. It's also a major advantage against severe malaria because the parasite literally struggles to latch onto the cells. But the flip side is a super acidic digestive system. Now, that was perfect for breaking down tough-to-digest meat back in the Stone Age, but today, well, it can lead to things like ulcers and acid reflux. And yes, if you feel like you are a walking mosquito buffet, you're not imagining it. Studies show they land on people with type O blood almost twice as often. And inside type O, you've got this really special case, O negative. In any emergency room on the planet, this stuff is liquid gold. It's the universal donor that can save absolutely anyone. But this incredible life-saving gift is also a kind of cage for the 7% of people who have it. Think of it like a one-way valve. You can save the whole world, but only another O negative can save you. Okay, so humanity doesn't stay put, right? The story moves on. We stopped wandering and we started farming. We built the first cities. And this massive shift required a brand new adaptation in our biology. Enter type A. This is the blood of the cultivator, of civilization. This right here is probably the single best way to picture the difference. It's a fantastic metaphor. If the ancestral type O blood flows like water, type A is a lot more like syrup. It's thicker, it's stickier, and that one single change has massive implications for pretty much everything. So as you can see, it's the second most common type, flowing through about 40% of us. And this was no accident. It was a necessary mutation for surviving the agricultural revolution. Suddenly, you have people packed together in villages and cities, and diseases can spread like wildfire. Type A was an answer to that. So what's the trade-off here? Well, the superpower is the agrarian shield. That A antigen on the blood cells is fantastic at fighting off the kinds of bacterial infections that were rampant in crowded settlements. The kryptonite, though? A nervous system that is basically marinating in stress hormones. And here's why that matters so much today. That thicker, syrup-like blood clots really fast. That's a lifesaver if you cut yourself with a primitive farming tool, right? But in our modern sedentary lives, it becomes a major risk factor for strokes and deep vein thrombosis. And that chemical anxiety, it's real. People with type A blood have higher baseline levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and it literally takes their bodies longer to clear it out after something stressful happens. You are biologically wired for high alert. But the story doesn't stop there, of course. Humans are explorers. We migrated out of Africa, pushed into Asia, across the harsh steppes and up into the mountains. And this journey demanded yet another adaptation. This is what led to type B, the blood of the nomad, the blood of the survivor. And right away, you can see how much rarer this type is. It's really concentrated in populations that undertook these massive migrations, like the ones across the Himalayas and the Ural Mountains. So what you're seeing is the genetic echo of ancestors who were always on the move. This whole new environment required a grand new trade-off. The superpower became what we could call the metabolic furnace, an incredibly rugged and efficient digestive system. But the kryptonite, an immune system so aggressive, so powerful, that it can sometimes turn on itself. We're talking about autoimmune friendly fire. This part is just fascinating. The type B digestive system evolved to easily handle a diet that included a lot of cultured dairy and heavy meats, things that other blood types really struggle with. And their hair trigger immune system made them incredibly resilient to historic plagues like smallpox. But in our modern, hypersterile world, that powerful internal army can get, well, it can get bored, and it might start attacking the body itself, leading to a higher statistical risk for things like lupus and MS. And that brings us to the final chapter, the new kid on the block, type AB. Now, this one isn't an adaptation to a new environment like the others. It's a result of human history itself. It's what happens when the cultivator, type A, and the nomad, type B, meet and mix. It is the newest, the most complex, and by far the rarest blood type. And just look at that number. Less than 1% of the entire world's population is AB negative. It is so incredibly rare that in some parts of Asia, they actually call it panda blood. So if you have this type, you are a true biological ghost. You are carrying the newest genetic mutation in our entire species. And here's where things get a little bit mind-bending. Type AB is a total paradox. The people who have it are the universal recipient for red blood cells, which means they can take blood from anybody, but at the same time, their plasma is the universal donor, which can be given to anybody. It's this incredible biological duality. But, and this is a big but, this modern hybrid seems to come with a hidden vulnerability. A major study called the Regard study revealed something pretty startling. People with AB blood were 82% more likely to develop thinking and memory problems that can eventually lead to dementia when compared to people with type O. So what on earth is going on here? Well, the prime suspect is a clotting protein called factor VIII. See, it's naturally higher in AB blood, and the leading theory is that over an entire lifetime, this sticky protein acts like a microscopic kink in a garden hose, slowly but surely reducing oxygen flow to the brain's most delicate networks. So, after this incredible journey through thousands of years, from the hunter to the farmer, the nomad to the modern hybrid, we can see that our blood type isn't just some random label. It really is our own personal evolutionary blueprint. And this chart really just sums up the whole story, doesn't it? You have the ancestor, type O, with its Teflon shield but that fiery gut. The cultivator, type A, with its powerful agrarian shield but a body just soaked in stress. The nomad, type B, with its metabolic furnace but that risk of autoimmune fire. And finally, the modern hybrid, type AB, the universal sponge, who has what we could call open gate syndrome, a unique vulnerability in its wiring. Each one of our blood types carries the scars, but also the strengths of ancestors we never even met. So the final question isn't about history, it's about you. It's a personal one. Now that you know your blueprint, are you living in alignment with it?